Hey, vinyl community, how you doing? I'm Gary. This is Selena, and you're watching Physical Format Rock and Roll. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is another episode of Vinyl Finds. I would call this the Friends Edition. I'm saying that because a lot of these albums are ones that either I've had friends directly recommend them to me, or just ones that we discuss a lot, that type thing. Uh, I think that's a lot of them fall into the Thursday night shows that I do with Jeff Witcher and the rest of the gang on his channel. They've come into conversations on there. So, anyway, that's why I'm calling it that long winded introduction there. Now, my first one kind of doesn't really fall into that category almost after I just said that. So, I picked up Jim Stafford's album. This is from, I think, 1974. And I already have this album. I have discussed this at different times, and I think I did discuss it on one of the Thursday episodes. The only other person I know of in the vinyl community who has shown this was JT from JT's Record Room. I know Rich Strickler knows of it. But I have it, but I've had to pick this up because it was $3, and this is a tremendous upgrade from the vinyl that I had. This is important in my childhood memories, and this is in great shape. I was amazed at how good of shape that was in, so I had to pick it up. Anyway, on to the rest of this. From 1976, we have A New World Record by ELO. I picked this up because, several people talk about ELO, but I know Jeff Witcher has talked about them as far as a band that maybe doesn't get the credit that they deserve. Everybody loves ELO, but I don't know why I just never buy too many of their albums. This isn't in the best of shape. It's okay, but I'll probably upgrade. But this has Living Thing, Do Ya, Telephone Line is on here. So now this next one, I have seen this before and passed it up. The reason why I'm getting this is because this was a direct recommendation from Brandon, Mr. Hall of Fame, who I am now friends with. Anyway, this is Out of Control by Rod Stewart. This is from 1988. I don't really know anything off of this album except for the song Forever Young. Of course, that was a hit, the Bob Dylan song. He did a fantastic remake of that. I know that Andy Taylor and another guy from the Power Station were the producers of this album. So anyway, I picked that one up. That was a good copy. I was happy to find that because after he'd recommended it, and of course then I couldn't find it, but I finally did. And then while I was looking through the Rod Stewart, I was really happy to find this Camouflage from 1984. I mean, that still has the hype on it. The record is in really good shape. Now this one I used to have on cassette. There it is. It's got that funky looking label, but this is in really, really nice shape. And it has Jeff Beck is on, I think, like 3 songs off of here. And it has the single, Some Guys Have All the Luck, but it also has Infatuation, which I don't care. That is one of my favorite Rod Stewart songs. It's got a cool Jeff Beck solo in there. So very happy to find this one in really good shape. Next, this is one I know that Chris Profi and I talk about these guys a lot. Their early stuff, Rich Strickler has before, but we've talked about it on the show, and that is Bee Gees. This is Travelgar. That's an odd title, but anyway, this is early Bee Gees. This is from 1971. This has the single, How Can You Mend a Broken Heart? How can you mend a broken heart? The next one was brought up on an episode not that long ago, and this is from 1982. It's Hard by The Who. Now, this came up because of subject matter as far as this is going to be re-released on Record Store Day. They're going to do a deluxe box set type deal of this. And it's kind of odd that they would do that. I will say, going back and listening to this, it's a better album than what I remembered. It's actually, it's not bad. I think, you're trying to compare it to earlier Who, and it sounds different than that. But when you compare it to like other music that was going on during that time, it's really not near as bad as I thought. Now, does it deserve some deluxe super box set re-release? No. I mean, maybe remastered. It's not necessarily the best sounding record. I will say that there's not enough distinction in the bass, which is crazy when you have John Entwistle. But you know what's not bad? Kenny Jones does a really good job drumming on this album. Kenny Jones gets shit on a lot because he had to follow Keith Moon. But really, by 1978, Keith Moon was washed up before he passed away. I mean, he couldn't even play on all of the Who Are You album, and I just can't picture him touring. He never could have. He couldn't have played on this album. His style would not have fit it. He had kind of burned himself out. And Kenny Jones is a very good drummer, and he sounds great on this album. Of course, this has their big hit, Eminence Front, comes off of this album. So, and I got this for $3. So, next, this came up from one of Jeff Witcher's rants on the show, and that I had two albums in mind that I wanted to get, and one was that first Rod Stewart one that I showed you that Brandon recommended, and then the next was one of these two, which was Genesis. Duke. This is their first album from the 80s. This is from 1980. This is them very much making that transition from, a progressive rock band into a pop band. This is the one that has Misunderstanding is on this one. Yes, Misunderstanding, Turn It On Again are the hits, but it also has, like to end the album, it has Duke's Travels, Duke's End, which is a long song, and that's a progressive song. And I needed to get some of this era. So actually what was funny was I had this and this Abacab from 1981, and I was texting the guy saying, hey, which one is best? And I got a couple of these, and then Aaron said Abacab, and I'm like, you know what, I'll get them both. I got them both. So I got Abacab also from 1981, definitely turning more pop onto this one. This has the song Abacab, No Reply at All, Man on the Corner. The odd thing about this was this cover, which I'm not that crazy about this cover, but they had like 4 different color variation covers. It's like, was this cover really that amazing that you had to do 4 variations of it? Kind of reminds you of Synchronicity by the Police, the way they had those color variations, so many of them, like on the album itself. Next, I picked up When You Found Me by Lucero. This is from 2021, so this is the newest of the albums I got. Of course, we know who always talks about that band, and that's Josh. This is his favorite band. So I picked this up. Now, it has the whole Americana tag to it, which normally turns me away from bands, but some of the bands that people throw into Americana I actually like, and I have listened to some of this, and you know what, I like it. So I got that specifically because that's been discussed several times by Josh. And then finally I picked this up for myself, but this next artist is Chris, and Jeff and I did a whole episode just talking about him. I know Sam St. John, Glenn Calloway, big fans. Michael Nesmith. I found this one called From a Radio Engine to a Photon, Photon what? Long? Photon Long. This is from 1977. This was actually still sealed Has all this stuff on here. I was just amazed. I had to pick this one up. I haven't seen that before, and the fact that it was still sealed like that and everything, even though, you know, it originally was a cutout deal. But I picked that up. I love Michael Nesmith. Love the Monkees, so had to get that one. Boom! There you go. Those are my latest vinyl finds. Curious to see what you guys think of some of them. What have you been finding out there? So thank you very much for watching. I'm Gary. This is Physical Format Rock and Roll. Until the next time, my friends, I will see you down the road.